Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study of the book of Hosea as part of our larger study of the writing prophets to the northern kingdom. And we're in chapter 3. In chapter 2, which we've spent 3 days talking about, we go through just the range of every emotion that a betrayed husband would feel when his wife has rejected him for another man or other men. And and Hosea's had to go through it as God is going through it for his people have rejected him for the Baals, plural. And anyway, he went through all that, and it ends with this looking forward to the day of restoration when he gets to be betrothed to her again and pay the bride price and marry her as a new bride and repeat those words that are in the marriage ceremony. Say their vows all over again. It ends with saying the vows all over again. You are my people. You are my God. Those are the vows, the covenant vows, the bridal vows, the marital vows. It's a beautiful thing that only God can achieve and only God achieves through Jesus. But to demonstrate that it's going to happen, he tells Hosea, okay, your wife went back and now she's a prostitute and she is owned by some other man. Go pay again for the wife that was yours to begin with and pay the price a second time and bring her home. And that's what happens. Chapter 3, verses 1 through 5. The Lord said to me, go again, love a woman who is loved by her husband, yet an adulteress, even as the Lord loves the sons of Israel, though they turn to other gods and love raisin cakes. So I bought her for myself for 15 shekels of silver and a homer and a half of barley. That's such we'll talk about why that's an important verse in a minute. And I said to her, you shall stay with me for many days. You shall not play the harlot, nor shall you have a man. So I will be towards you. For the sons of Israel will remain for many days without king or prince, without sacrifice, sacred pillar, without ephod or household idols. Afterwards, the sons of Israel will return and seek the Lord their God and David their king, and they will come trembling to the Lord and to his goodness in the last days. There's so much in these 5 verses. God said, I want you to go buy her back. And so he does. And he pays the standard price of a slave, which is 30 shekels of silver. I mean, it's standardized. Um, but he doesn't have 30 shekels of silver. Um, the ready money he has is 15. And so he evidently has had to empty his storehouse to food that the grain that he was going to feed himself and his kids to finish up the price because he gives the grain equivalent of that amount. And he goes and buys her back. And 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 he says, this is the way it's going to be. You're going to be faithful to me, and I'm going to be faithful to you. It's going to be this way because this is the way God has loved his people. And and then we have described what's going to happen in their captivity, which the northern and southern kingdoms are going to go into. They will be without king or prince. They will be without sacred pillar, ephod. That's the priest's robe, or household idols. They're not going to have anything. I'm going to I'm going to completely remove from them, forcibly, physically remove from them their idolatrous practices. And they're going to be for a generation, for 2 generations, 3 generations without these idolatrous practices. And then they're going to be ready to come home to me. And chapter 3, verse 5 has to look forward to the future, to the messianic future, because after they went into captivity, there was never again a king in Israel except Jesus. He's the only king of the Davidic line to ever reign after their captivity. And we know this is what he's talking about because he's talking about the last days. the messianic age. That's what he's talking about. And he looks forward to that. This is the rest of the book in microcosm, because what we're going to get in chapters 4 through the end of chapter 13 are the emotions. And it's rough. It's going to be rough for us to go through this verse by verse the way we are, but we're going to. God intends us to. It's like the book of Ecclesiastes. We are acquiring earned knowledge. And the blessing of it is these are God's feelings. God is laying his own heart open for us because his heart is hurting in this moment. And he lets us see his hurting heart so that we will know how much he cares for us and how much he's willing to pay to have us back, which is everything he has, which is his very self. And then in chapter 14, we get the promise of restoration, the promise of the Messiah. And we know that's true too. Well, we'll pick up with chapter 4 next time. Thank you for your attention and look forward to our next 5 good minutes together. Thanks.